We're talking about Canva for the office and how do folks first get started? They need an account, right? So I'm here at canva.com/education, and teachers can go out individually and get verified. They can upload a teaching certificate, a pay stub, an ID badge, and that lets Canva know that they work officially for a K-12 organization. Canva has been around for quite a while. It'll stay free for educators and schools because of its background. The creator, her mother was a teacher, and the software started out as being uh, actually a yearbook tool. So they could make their yearbooks and layouts for free. And then when they wanted to print those yearbooks, they would pay Canva, and it wasn't even called Canva yet, but they'd pay them to print. And so the print option for pay is still a built-in feature, but you can create all you like for free. Now, this is one way by going to canva.com/education to get an account. I'm going to show another way. You could also be invited to create an account. So to do that, one would, let me get a link here. I'll show you an example. So here's the second way. Perhaps someone already went through that application process, or your school district already did that. And so you could be invited in from someone else who is verified. So this is one, it was for Hillsdale, and Kendall was signed up for class today. So I wanted to be sure she had the premium level access. And all you'd choose would be to continue with Google. You go through the steps with your account to approve that process, and you're in. Now you have a full account. Now, I will say this, in this particular instance, and it's happened, if your district has not applied for Canva for education, then those verified teachers could actually be the ones who are kind of in charge. It's a bad way to say it, but this here is called a team. Hillsdale Local School District, Jeromesville, Ohio, is a team created by one person at Hillsdale. So they become the gatekeeper for all the people who get an invitation or follow through. So I just wanted to point that out because it can be confusing. You might have started an educator account and then your district went through and started. So it can be a little messy if you have multiple accounts. So I'm just going to back this off and do a login. This is another way. You're probably just logging in. And this would be if your school has already applied. I know in Oroville schools, the steps, they have instructions to continue with their email. This particular account's just going to pick Google. So this is one with TCCSA. And the same deal goes. You just have to allow it and let them know you're doing a single sign-on. So basically, if you're logged into your Google account, you're logged in to Canva. Now, down here at the lower left corner, there is a little profile icon. And I want to point that out to everybody because this is an account where there are multiple teams. So you might sometimes see that you had a free account, then your school started an account for you, and you would switch between those, and they call those teams. And this is saying here that April Day created a class so she could invite students to it. And then this is the actual organization. It's important to know the difference because there are features that, such as this thing called brand here on the left. And so if I am signed into my official school district one, it would let me access those brands. So I just wanted to point that out. And I know here with this setting, it did look like I was in the right team for that. But again, it told me I had no brand and it gets a little confusing. So just ask the right questions of your tech folks or the person in charge, and then you'll be able to navigate and get around easier. So here I am with a basically fresh account, and I want to navigate. And on the left is a sidebar that can hide or close this little sub sidebar. And I can click on create and it will pop up an option and all these different templates are available. Loads of things you can do. And what's probably hard for us to wrap our heads around first is we have to get out of our thought process that it is a particular file, like a PowerPoint or a document, because really they just call them all designs. What's most important is the dimensions. So if you think, all right, I'm designing and I need something that is square, I need something that is a landscape rectangle, that's really what's important. And so that's where you're going to see these dimensions pop up when you're creating something new. But you can jump through the different fields when you create. So I just want to finish up some navigation and then we're going to upload a PDF for editing. The home button will always bring you back home. You can also click your Canva logo to get there. And the same type of template choices are here. It could land on your designs, or if you say, well, I'm making something fresh. So then you can search templates. And they are giving you basically the same icons, a little bit more visual, things that you want to make. And they even give these cute suggestions as well. One difference when you are thinking about size, it is important to pay attention to print templates because especially when it's a document, I have designed something that was a flyer and then it never fit the 8.5 by 11 paper. So they're getting better about that. Just something to have a heads up on. Now, I'm going to move down here. We're skipping over classwork. That would be for teachers. Projects would take you back to your stuff. What have you made in the past? And so this account, it hasn't been used a lot. It's mainly for training. And it has a few designs. They organize your things by folders, which you can create to sort and organize better. But if you get started at first, everything's just gonna kind of dump into this designs area. And again, it's not sorting things by a document or a presentation. It's just everything that you've made. Then recents is at the top. That's convenient when you want to get back to something quickly. This is just another way to get to these buttons that we saw when we want to create. So making it very convenient, and then the brand. And this one is not showing me any brand assets. I'm going to show you a separate account that does have the brand set up. So when it's clicked here, this brand, I can click mine. And so it is here. And these are the different parts of the brand that can be set. So what are my logos? So these are all the logos that were set up. Then those buttons are not there, but they've moved here to the sub navigation. And I can look at my colors. Of course, I want to have the right ones, the fonts that were chosen, any photos that were uploaded. And then those would be shareable by the district. So that's why a district account would be beneficial to someone working in the office. Whenever I click Canva AI, there, like I said, Canva has infiltrated. It's really bringing me to the same search screen where I was looking at my designs or the templates. Canva AI is a way for you to just describe what you want to do, and it might start the document, start the presentation, create an image. So whatever you ask of it, it will do for you. And the more is just hiding a whole lot more that we probably won't talk about in this short time. So I'm going to get back to that other account here. And we are going to figure out, how do we deal with PDFs? So if somebody has a PDF on the school website, or they've handed it to you because it's a local charity or organization doing an event that you want to maybe make a few changes to it. So I have clicked on the house to go back home, And I'm doing that because I can click on the word upload here. So from home, I can pick upload. Now, all of you might not have a PDF. I can drop one here into our Zoom chat. So anybody watching the recording, you're going to want to have your own PDF to play with. So I'm going to first grab one for all of you. You can download it then from our Zoom chat. This is going to be, we're going to go with this preschool tuition application I have stolen from Worcester City. So all of you, if you want to play with that, it is in our Zoom chat, and that way you could follow along. And before I get too much further along, is everybody signed into their Zoom account? And you can pick one of those little reaction icons or type in the chat a yes or a no. I want to be sure you're at least logged into your Canva account. Right. Lisa and Beth are logged in. Beautiful. And Andrea. Awesome. Okay, so if you see that PDF, you can download it real quick. I'm going to upload that PDF, the same one, and it's in my Canva folder ready to be edited. So it appears in my recents. Great. I also get a confirmation down at the bottom, kind of like Google Drive when things are uploaded. And then I can click on the ellipses to look at all the choices I can do. What is it I want to do with this? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and I could rename it if I needed, but I'm just going to click on the thumbnail, and maybe you have a list view, but we're just going to click and see what has happened. I am in Canva. And what can I do? I can edit this. Easy peasy, upload a PDF, and now it's fully editable. You should always review what was uploaded. I want to notice and point this out to you. Some spaces were missed. It uses object character recognition, OCR technology. And so I think that's pretty mild for such a complicated document that if I had to come in here and put in a few spaces, I'm okay with that. And even to show you, I'm going to pull this off to the side here. Let me get another window to show you the before. So I did just unitalicize these top two, but side by side, one's a little larger, but I can make sure that the formatting fits. So this had a table in it. It had a lot of underscores for lines and to include signatures and, a box at the bottom. What do you guys think of the PDF conversion to make this editable? We got a thumbs up, thumbs down. And you can give me a reaction or give me something in the chat to let me know. And even if you didn't do it yourself, just if you watched, what did you think? So we have one that loves it. Great. I'm glad to hear that. And you know what I didn't do? Let's see. Okay. Nope, we're good. How are you out there, Beth and Andrea? Just checking in on everybody. I hope they haven't been pulled away. But for time and the amount of content we want to, okay, good. Glad to hear from you, Andrea. We're going to keep moving on. So this did open in a tab, and to get out of a project, a design, even though this is a PDF, I would click up here at my top left, and I can return back home. Typically, when you open designs, it will open in a new tab. So you can have this home base still lingering around later on. So that concludes how to upload a PDF, and then it is instantly editable. Another skill would be to edit images. And I have a link for all our districts here to grab their district logo. And I'm putting this in our chat. I'll include this in our video recording in the description. And that way you all can hop out to this folder, go find your own logo and quickly download it. These are the logos that we're using on our members districts page. And, you know, maybe somebody else has already given your logo. I just thought this would be a nice example for all of us to have an image to edit. So this is the folder full of images. These are the images in that folder, but they all have a circle around them. And sometimes you want to use your logo and maybe not have a white background. And so what we'll do next is upload an image using your logo. And how would you go about doing that? Well, from the home base, again, I have all these choices. I'm going to click on the word upload, just like I did for the PDF. Same deal, upload files, and I can go then to my logo. So I have mine. And here in my preview, it's showing me that it really has a white rectangular background. It has this actually a transparent area, but it's forced in this circle. And so I've uploaded it. There's the line for the circle. But it's going to ask me, since this time it's an image, it's like, what do you want to do with that? And I can hit edit image or use in a new design. I'm going to click edit image, and this is going to on the fly give me this little pop-up just for image editing. And there we go. Transparency is represented with a checkerboard background. The white background is here, and I have this black line. And there are fun things, wonderful, magical things like a background remover. I can click once, it's going to scan across my image. Voila, it is transparent background for the whole thing. Also, there is an eraser. So a magic eraser where I can use a brush or a click. I could even detect a foreground if I want it, but this has no layers, you know, no sense of dimension. It's flat. So with this brush, I can adjust the brush size. I can go around and magically erase this black line. And driving with a mouse is so fun because, yeah, you might have to hold your mouse and pick up again in case you are trying to do the whole circle. I can see I missed a piece, and that's okay. I can click again. This was close to the edge. I was nervous about taking too much. I'll click again. All right, so I think I got it all. Then I can hit erase. And it looks like there's a little crumb of something here at the top. I can erase again after brushing that out also. And now here I am presented with my logo with a nice, clean, transparent background, and now I can hit save. Now I chose a logo, but of course, any photo that is not very pretty, or you have objects you want to magic erase. If I have a student, I might need to blur or, you know, just make it so if they don't have permissions for their photos to be on our school website, that kind of thing, then I will clean them up using those tools. So in my home base, I am seeing my recents, and I'm not really seeing my uploaded items there. So I'm going to go on. If we are happy with editing, or I'll even pause here for any questions to be asked. Okay, I have a thumbs up, which is great to see. Thank you for that, Beth. Going to my projects, I should be able to now see those files. And it's great because they even show me the difference. This was the original that was uploaded. This is an upload that's finished. If you're ever wanting these someplace else, not stuck here in Canva, you can click on the ellipses and you can hit download. It'll download it exactly how it is. And when I look in my downloads and grab that file, it has added to the end of it the word edited. So it's a PNG file automatically, and I can use that then other places. If I'm still using Microsoft Word, if I'm using PowerPoint, that's okay. Just used Canva to clean this up very easily for you. And it is much more professional to have your school logos and other images with a transparent background, so it doesn't have like that white outline of it. So those were the first two skills you guys were wanting. Let's talk a little bit about if you had an image, say, and the image was text. And I'm going to share another file with you in our Zoom chat. For those who watch the recording, you're going to need to go find your own. But it's pretty easy to go out there and find a document that somebody took a snapshot of. And what we're going to see is what Canva can do with that. Because it's possible, again, your only copy was this picture, was a PDF version or a scanned picture, and you need to edit it. So let me get that. This is a picture, and I'm pulling this from West Homes. And our West Homes person is Lisa. So this is on the school website. Now that's in our chat, and you all can download. And what I can do this time is, again, head home. We're doing a lot of uploads today. Let's upload that. The same process as our last two files. Upload file, and mine is the religious holiday picture. All right. Now, I don't want you to choose edit image this time. We're going to use it in a new design because we don't want this to stay as a picture. We want to start editing it. So I'm going to say use in a new design. And again, they're not worried about necessarily the exact file format. They're talking about dimensions here. So what would fit this? It's a paper, like a portrait. It's like a brochure, but that would be landscape. So you just keep scrolling through until you find what you want. And if you don't find what you want, you could always pick custom size and type in the exact dimensions, which I do a lot. But I did. I found worksheet. It's portrait. That'll fit my purpose. So there it is. The picture has filled the page. I want to be able to edit this. Click once to select the image. Click Edit. It brings over those magic tools we saw just a moment ago when we edited our logo. And now I'm going to do something different. Select what area. It says all, but if I arrow over, there is one hidden called text. So now it's saying, okay, she wants to do something different. It's using, again, its object character recognition to scan your document. It has detected all these different texts. Why it has pulled apart some in different text boxes, I can't explain. It's just part of the scanning. So if I want to make anything editable, change the font, change the size, I'm going to select it. So I am selecting everything. Now, as soon as one thing is selected, I can click this grab text. And I highly recommend you do it all now. So if there's any text you want to edit, you do it and then click grab text. So here we are. It's doing its magic like it did with the PDF, but this time it started with an image. The logo, it's still its own thing, but here's what's really cool. It detected the colors roughly. So you could recolor your logos or any images that might have appeared on your sheet. And so if there's something I want to change, then I can go ahead and say, okay, I wanted this to be 2 lines. Because it happens, whoever owned the document, their account or their computer is inaccessible, and someone else like you is the one stuck who has to edit. Again, it's always smart to review. I notice here below, because these were detected separately, some of the font sizes are not the same, or the same font for that matter. So I'm going to want to review every time. And I can select that. It detected multiple fonts, multiple sizes. I can change and start working on anything I want here. So depending on the one I want to keep, then I need to then go select and make matches. So this one, I was only changing the size, but within a text box, I can go and change the font. So all the tools at the top are dynamic. All that means is they're going to be the tools for you to use based on what is selected. So text tools are popping up because that's what I selected was text. It told me the font that it detected, and if I need to pick something else, and I did not look to see what the text was for the rest of them. Let's find one that didn't have open sauce. Looks like the font it used, but now we have all these different sizes. So minor cleanup, I'd continue working on that. And I'll zoom out and give you a side-by-side comparison of the original image to what we had converted for us. So let's look at that picture. Just give me a moment to open it up for you. All right, and I want to get the window sized a little better. Unfortunately, it wanted to go full screen on me. So here we go. Here is our side-by-side comparison. You can see some obvious changes. We have lost this font for notice, but it is still larger and that is drawing attention to it. We've lost, this was a serif font, now it's a sans serif font. So definitely check on those font choices. I see this was different, I need to fix up. So not too shabby for something converted from just a picture. And if I kind of zoom in, you see all this artifacting that happened when this was created into a picture. And now we have this nice, clean copy to start fresh from. And even if all you did was grab the text and went back to, say, Microsoft Word, you can copy the text and use it elsewhere. And that finishes the skill of uploading an image to really make your image to text. Any questions here? And if any of you were following along, were you successful in using that image, uploading it, and grabbing the text?
Rebecca, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so when you uploaded that image, that's why it made all those different changes.
I
It was
uploaded it.
guessing at all the different fonts, and that's what you had to clean up, right?
I will even back up. It didn't. I did a lot of changes, so I have a lot of backing.
Because I was looking at like, who made that? It's a hot mess. But I'm getting that
Oh,
you took the image, Canva put all those, like they were like guessing at all the fonts.
yeah.
And
Just
that's
like
what
a
you were
old
cleaning up.
school scanner would do. It guessed on the fonts because
Okay.
they didn't look like that when I just
Okay.
showed you the original. Um, yeah, all this guessing, it's part of that scanning process. And why
Gotcha.
Canva didn't keep it consistent, I can't explain. But I mean, it's really looking at a picture of something and translating it. So I'm pretty forgiving whenever it comes to stuff like that, because I can just double click and quickly, go hit, because I don't have to do it one by one. Below, I was doing it because there were separate text boxes, but I could fix a whole box pretty good, real fast, one size, because it's all selected together. So cleaning it up can go pretty quick. And I'm not too picky on what I'm wanting here right now, but we use the ability to edit, and then we selected text. But sure, the boxes that it determined, that all happened because of the scanning process.
Got it. Okay, that part confused me, and then I was just like, wait a minute. Okay, that's
Yeah,
pretty cool. Thank you.
yeah,
And yes, I was able to follow along pretty easily.
awesome. Okay. So there are many other skills that you might want to know. I just picked our ones that were voted as priority to go through first. And so again, I'm going to hit this open menu and I'm going to go home. And there is a whole litany of templates that we haven't even touched. We've just been working with our own things that we update or upload. And so it could be where you need a template. And right now this is pointing to my designs. I can pick templates here from the top menu. Or if I was on my projects page, I could also click templates here. So many ways, I guess, as they say, to skin a cat. They make it very convenient for you. And so when I'm searching templates, I can pick one of their categories, or if I come in, I'm like, I know what I need to make. I need to make a certificate. That's it. And so just on my word search alone, it's going to bring up certificates. Now, I can also narrow this down to their certificate. They have a category for certificates. They have styles. So now, what am I after? Are these going to be my perfect attendance? Are these my something that's end of the year? I can pick whatever style I want, and I can make it more for primary level. I can make it for professional level. All the different choices are here. So if I'm editing a template, and I like this one, it's attractive to me, and I am going to select it, it also then will kind of say, all right, this is kind of the style you're after, but here's some more. And you kind of get lost in the weeds pretty quick, but I'm just going to ignore the more. Here's the feature I was talking about where if you wanted to print, you can. I had a coworker, she had her son's graduation announcements printed. So you can still pay off on the side, but that's not a part of our goal today. So you just customize this template. And if I was logged into my school account, in which I am not on this one, then I would be able to use my brand. Oh, good. It did detect my brand this time. So I can just shuffle through very quickly the colors that were preset for my organization. And I don't know if I like any of these. So I could always click back to undo. So you have your undo arrow. You can back infinitely until as long as it's been that current session. If you have left the document and have returned, you're starting from 0 again for your undos. You have tools across the top, such as resizing. Maybe the one you chose, you didn't realize it's cutting off or it's a little bit too big. So you have all these different size choices. And you can copy and resize or just resize the one you're working on. Editing is the mode we are in right now. But if you need to send this off to somebody else in another office, you can give a shared link and give them comment ability or view only. And we'll talk about sharing here in a moment. So I'm customizing a template. Because I was in my brand, it has popped open a sub bar, and I want to make that all go away. I'm losing real estate on my screen. And I can change anything that is on my screen. If I click on my background, then I have the ability to edit anything with the background. And let's see, that seems to not have anything actually identified in the background. If I don't like the individual colors of objects, Canva is a crazy awesome graphic design program because it lets you have all the ability to change individual colors. So it's possible I wanted just a few of these ribbons colored, not the whole thing. I can change a font and say like, I need this to be blank, or I could undo that and I can start typing in the names. And I could add pages below. I could duplicate this page. So if I have add, I have duplicate. I could lock this page, only allow replacing content. So other things, I update this to other names that need to fit. So it's all very easy to edit. I like to think of when I'm working with documents, I like to think of Canva as Microsoft Publisher because it has all those flexible tools that Publisher, if you have used that in the past, that has. So just making some changes so you can see as I click different objects, again, the toolbar is dynamic. The tools are for the purpose of what I'm doing. I select something else, different tools. And anytime I click edit, it brings back, depending on what it is. My Magic Studio could be there. I could get special effects. It could even send me out to additional apps. So I have not spoke about elements at all. But let's say I got started with my certificate. I started making color changes, and now I'm not as happy with the design I selected. So I could totally pick a whole new design. Do I add it as a new page? Do I replace the current? It depends. Am I going to send this off and have somebody say, hey, compare these two pages. Tell me which one you like the best. But I'll just replace the current one. And as you see, it has also replaced my text. So I would have to work on that again. So you want to change designs only in the very early stages, but elements are little things you can add, such as graphics. And you'll see that it has recommendations that are considered magic. You can search, and this would be basically a keyword search. So if I want to say, I want to search for a trophy, and I want that on my certificate, I search, the results are below. A single click will place it onto my creation. I am clicking and holding my mouse to just reorganize objects. They are floating in all these different layers. And I can scale by grabbing a circle handle from the corner. There is a rotate icon, which rotating would not look good in this case, so I'll undo that. I can lock an object so I don't accidentally move it again. Because all these different layers do sometimes interfere and get in the way of one another. So sometimes you might find yourself locking an object to protect it. Maybe here, I like this, but I want to see what happens if I lighten it up. Or what color is it even affecting? It seems to only be affecting the shadow of it. So it's not really a great edit for the color because it's not as editable as, say, this one would be. So this very flat, more cartoon type trophy is very editable. So I can make this match my school colors and pick from my brand. And this is, horribly colored, but you can see now that this would match along with my own brand. So bringing objects out, pretty easy, and select. there is also the ability to, talk and have it type what you're saying. If I arrow back from graphics, if I don't go into one of these sub areas, at the very top search, I could still say trophy and hit enter or the arrow. It still brings those up. And now it's not just down in the graphics folder, it is showing me trophy photos, three-dimensional trophy videos, because this does have a video editor all built inside, and then even audio files that would go along. Now, if I wanted to type more in here, I can experiment with their generate. So let's say I want to create or design or draw a trophy that let's see, I'm going to say knight. I'm picking on West Holmes here is holding high over his head. And now I better make sure I say what style, because otherwise I might get a photograph, and I don't really want a photographic one. Make the style cartoon-ish. We'll see if it even accepts that word. And instead of hitting the arrow here, I'm going to generate an image. So there are AI tools all throughout Canva, and I'm just using one of them to create my image. It's going to think about it, and it must be coming up with more than one. There we are. And so knight, he is holding it over his head, and it is a cartoonish style. And I actually like one of these with the background. So I can click, select, and now I've added something that I like even better to my certificate. Now, if you notice, the certificate seems to have a little bit of a colored texture, like paper background, but my knight does not. I can then select this and use and they made it convenient because they know this is going to happen a lot. Background remover. And now it looks much more professional because I'm not competing with that white square in the background. So there is an example of a template in use, and we added the design and elements tools. And I'm going to throw one more in here because uploads, earlier we were playing with a logo, and maybe this is not for West Holmes. This is for TCCSA. I'm even going to place that logo right inside my ribbon and make that very customizable. So uploads could be, again, from your computer. We were doing it early on. We did it for just a photo we wanted to quickly edit, or a graphic, or you can do it while you're inside a design. So these ellipses here also will let me connect out to my Google Drive. So if my images are in Drive, then I need to connect my Google account to my Canva, and here I am in April's account, and I can hit continue. I want to select all the things it's going to ask me for permission, and we don't really have a lot. I just have more of the district logos, and let's say I want to pull somebody else's. I want to say see all, because I have noticed it'll just append and give you a short list, and let's bring in Worcester. We'll pick on you for a little bit. One click, that one was already nice and clean. It didn't have all that background. That could maybe instead go inside my ribbon. And now I should work on colors to make that match. If I am done with this design, I can share. Sharing anything, an upload, a PDF, a template that you have customized, sharing is done here at the top right. And I can copy a link if I want folks to access this online, and it would be a public link. I can allow view access to make that public. I do need to make sure I'm changing, who can access anything. And this is similar to Google when you're sharing. So what can they do? They can maybe comment if I'm working with someone else in another office, or view for the public, like say if this is a newsletter. So that link could be copied. I could choose to do other things, like sending it out to Google Drive, so I can save it back to my drive if I want it to really stay there. I could download it. So let me look for my download. How did I lose that? There it is, right to the left, under my nose. And within the download, I have all these different file types. So what am I really wanting a certificate to be? Do I want it to be a picture? It might be nice to be a PDF, but I need to print these at the copier for our ceremony. So then I'm going to click PDF print. When you have multiple pages, which I do not, multiple pages of anything, whether they're graphics, whether your design is going to be a document style or even a presentation, it will download into a zip file, and then the separate pages will be inside. And then if there's anything more I care about, I would set that. If I was picking something like a PNG, which it's suggesting for me, I leave the size alone. I don't want to skew the dimensions. If it was a graphic like my school logo, then I can check the box for transparent background. And that would be highly recommended for your image file types. And I will pick back to PDF print, hit download, and then I'll see at the bottom right, it's downloading my file. It went into my downloads. My Acrobat reader wants all this attention from me now. Thank you. And let me just peek in my downloads where that went. And even though I never retitled this, my download now is saying this is a file named Red and Gold Minimalist Employee of the Month. So I might need to pay attention to the name, but this looks exactly how I need it, and then I can send it off or print. Now, when I return back to Canva here, the name, right? This was up here at the top. I never addressed it. It's not too late. You can change this. I can name it whatever I like anytime. And I will find this back at my home in my projects when I need to return to it. Now in my recents, but later on, it'll always be in my designs. Any questions on that template? Did any of you play with a certificate template, or did you pick something else, or did you just kind of hang back and watch? Let's see. All right. So Lisa played around and Beth watched, which is reasonable because I was bouncing all over the place. That'd be a lot to do and watch. That's okay. Great. So it will be recorded, and that way you can go back if there's any of those steps, like connecting to Google Drive, that you need to refresh while you're going to work on your own. With just a few minutes left, I'd like to show one last option. And you'll only find this when you're on your projects page. If you're working with files that you have saved over time, and it is in either Google Drive, maybe you use Microsoft OneDrive, but it's stored someplace else. Rather than go through all the effort of downloading it and then uploading it here to Canva, there is a quick way to bridge from one to the other. So this is the only place you'll find this plus symbol is on the projects page. And I can't say it enough because it took me a while to finally remember where did it go. And furthermore, when you click the plus, it's in a subcategory of import. So you can pick where you store your files. So let's say they are in Google Drive. If you weren't signed in, it would ask you to get signed in. And if I'm searching files, it does start here at Google Drive. That's great. I have all these logos. I can pull in things that way. The reason you might come here is because there's a difference from uploading the other way when we were clicking the actual Word upload. So this will let me bring in other files, and I need to change accounts because this one has more examples. So again, let me repeat those steps. Projects plus import Google Drive. And while I'm in here, I want to get a presentation. So I remember it was called Tool Breakdown. And so if I just search for the word tool, it'll search my whole Google Drive. If I can find it first. Let's see, where has it gone? You know what? It's in my Canva folder. So I'll try searching the folder instead. We'll do that. Open up that folder in Google Drive. And here we go. This is my... Now what I know, because I own the file in my Google Drive, it's really a PowerPoint file that I had uploaded to Google Drive. But here it's just calling it a document, and Canva is very generic anytime it pulls these in. Again, it doesn't care about the type as much as it cares about the dimensions. I select it and I can hit import. So if you find yourself bridging both worlds, you're designing and doing some things in Google, but then you like the flexibility of Canva, you're going to want to maybe move things over. So, and I looked at our time and we are at 10:30. So I'm going to just end here with this last sentence. If you are bringing something over and then you're wondering, where has it gone? You could always search all your projects. And I remember the name of it. There it is. I had it a couple times. I brought it in twice today just to test. And so here it is, a PowerPoint just uploaded. It says the preview's unavailable, but I can still open it in Editor. It'll open it. And now it was a single page. And now I would do the same as I did with a PDF or an image when it did a conversion. I want to double check and compare. So now I have full access to edit colors that I wouldn't have had in my PowerPoint. Every single little element is editable. I can use my brand colors if I have those for my organization. And I can also share it out and download or send a link. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed your time. And it wasn't too fast or confusing for you all. So I'm glad you guys are with me here, and the recording will get posted here shortly.